Those who have ears to hear, let them listen. Who the Son sets free, they are free indeed. What do I mean by that? Listen to this. Formerly, when you did not know God, you were slaves to those who by nature are not God's. What does that mean? That means that before you were saved, before you decided to give your life to Christ, and people who don't, right, who haven't yet, they live in complete sin. And sometimes Christians do. We live in whatever our body feels like doing, whatever the cravings of our flesh is. If I feel like lust, I'm gonna go masturbate. Oh, I feel like eating a bunch of sweets, I'm gonna go do that. I feel like gossiping. I feel upset. I'm gonna act a certain way. You know what I mean? It's whatever is on the mind. That's what we do. And in doing so, we become slaves to our own flesh, slaves to the outside world telling us, programming us, right? Our feed. Whatever we see on our feed, that's what makes us want to do. If we see some good food, I want food. I need to consume. You know what I mean? Because that's what a slave does. A slave is somebody who has to do exactly what they're told. They just have to. They have no other choice, right? And so spiritually, we are slaves until we get set free, right? So listen to this. But now that you know God, or rather you are known by God, how is it that you are turning back to those weak, miserable forces? Do you wish to be enslaved by them all over again? You can fall back into temptation, right? Falling back into temptation, that's a big thing. And it's okay, God forgives you. But you got to realize what you're doing, right? You got to realize until you can beat that battle. And sometimes it feels like those battles, they're never going to leave. Certain things that you want, those never leave because we're in corrupted flesh bodies until we go up to heaven and it all returns and everything, and we get our perfect bodies. That's another video. But while we are on this earth, okay, we are corrupted. I'm not meant to have acne. My back is not meant to be the way it is. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so much wrong in the world, and people say that all the time, and that's one of the main reasons that people don't want to believe in God is if God was real, this one thing wouldn't happen to me. You realize he's giving you the chance to get out of that by accepting him as Savior, by choosing to live for him, and then you get salvation, and then one day that's all going to be gone. You're not going to have to worry about any of that anymore. But if you're if you're stuck in worrying about that, and then you refuse to accept Jesus, guess what? That's what you're gonna get for the rest of eternity. You're gonna get hell, and it's just gonna be more bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, let's look at what the flesh wants. The acts of the flesh are obvious: sexual immorality, impurity, debauchery, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, discord, jealousy, fits of rage, selfish ambition, dissension, fraction, envy, drunkenness, orgies, and all the like. You know? What does this world push on you? It pushes on you to live in the flesh. But if your Son sets you free, you are free indeed. That means that you get to switch. It says in Galatians chapter 4, right? The children of God. We switch from being slaves to becoming adopted. And in the ancient Roman world, which is the time period that this was written in, being adopted is like the coolest thing. Like if you were a servant, if you're an indentured servant, if you're a slave, all of a sudden you have an inheritance. You have something to look forward to. You have a new sort of walk about you, you know? Yeah, you're not the father or the master. You don't get to call the shots necessarily. You still have rules around you. But guess what? You have inheritance. That's what a slave doesn't have. Being a slave just drags you down to hell. Slave to your flesh is what I'm saying. Don't let yourselves be ruled. We were called to be more than conquerors. All right? And in this world, we are all following something. We all belong to something. Okay? It's better to know what you're following and know what happens than to think that you're following nothing. It's better to know what you're following and following the footsteps of that than to be half in, half out. And it's scary how easy it is to become half in, half out. It's very, very easy. As long as you're even flirting with any of these things of the flesh, you're not all the way in. You're not completely adopted into kidship. Because sometimes daughters and sons, you know what I mean? It's kidship. I don't know if that's a real word. And I'm not saying you have to be perfectly sinless. Like I already said, that's impossible. Our thoughts, that's why we have to control our actions, crucify our flesh, kill our flesh. All this flesh wants to do is bad stuff. That's all it wants to do. But the soul, the spirit, my inner self, that's what wants to please God. That's what wants to do good. That's what wants the more that this world has to offer. That's why we're longing for things that totally satisfy us. Like longing for peace, longing for love that doesn't go wrong, all this stuff. That all happens later on in a world, and when we belong to a world that is not corrupted after the second coming, right? So that's why our flesh tries our best to do it. That's why we're constantly needing more. Consume, because it's trying to satisfy the eternal, because our souls are eternal, but our bodies are not. But our bodies try their best to satisfy that eternal need for eternal things, but it can't. So, I don't know. I'm sure everybody at least has an idea about what they just keep them held captive, keeping them in the physical world, as to say, whether it be politics, whether it be gossip, social media, covetousness, jealousy, whatever it is. There's many things that can hold you back. Don't let anything hold you back. Same way the Father runs to us, we need to be the Father running to Him. Don't you want to run? When you pick somebody up from the airport that you've missed and you dearly love, they're excited to see you, right? What do? You don't saunter over and just, oh. No, you run and you hug him and you say, oh, yes, I'm so glad we're finally together again. It's been so long, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's joyous. The joy of the Lord has to be within you. Live in the fruits of the Spirit. That's how you counteract the flesh, because the fruits of the Spirit are within you. So when you force your body and you take control of your body to live in the fruits of the Spirit, to do the right things, you're dying to the flesh. You're dying to that slavery. You're taking them chains off. You're saying, no, that's not who I am. I'm a child of God.